special thank you to our sponsors, In the Game and Joseph Gonzalez, and Lincoln Media Group. For more information on Joseph Gonzalez and In the Game, you can find him on LinkedIn or go to joseph@inthegame.com. And for more information on Lincoln Media Group and their wonderful media services, go to lincolnmediagroup.com. Ta-da! Hello, everybody. Welcome to Russ Reels Live on this Thursday, 4 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time. Dr. Nupi's favorite time. We got to love the Pacific Daylight Time, and she is whooping it up in the green room. She's all ready to go. Hey, listen, I am so excited to be with you today. You know, I have doctors galore on the show today because we're talking health and business. You know, it's interesting because two really important topics. You know, we're all here and all of us are in some sort of business, but health is so important to everything that we do. And we're going to talk about that today, both physical and mental health, and get their perspectives on that. You know, I'm so blessed with so many great friends that are willing to come on, share their expertise with you, and just really add value to all of our lives. So I'm excited today. We're going to get to them in just a second. But first, wanted to remind you, who am I? I'm Russ Hedge. I am your marketing coach, and I am here to inspire and encourage you. I love to inspire and encourage people to live a purpose-driven life. And what do I mean by that? I want you to do the amazing things God created you to do. I want you to be a world changer. I want you to be a difference maker. And you could do that in so many ways, for health, for you, for others, and for your business. And so today we're going to talk more about that. I also wanted to remind you, I love to connect to people. And the best way to connect with me is at russhedge.com, just russhedge.com, right? Let's see if I did it right. Right there. There it is. Okay. And so anyway, that is all my connection links and everything about me. There you go. That's pretty much all you need to know about me. Also, love to have you subscribe on YouTube if you want to get all the amazing content from past people on the show and the notices about upcoming content. You can just go to russreels.live, russreels.live. It'll take you directly to my YouTube page. Pretty simple. And then you can sign up and get all that great content. So I hope you will do that. And I'm just really excited about today's topic. So instead of going on and on about everything else, I'm going to jump into our guest just to remind you that we are here every Thursday, 4 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time on Russ Reels Live every Thursday. And I got to make sure I always remember the right show. I almost said the wrong show the other day because I have several live streams. And so this is Russ Reels Live every Thursday at 4 p.m. There we go. All right. Well, just to get the party started, and because she's probably the wildest one in the group, we're going to bring in Dr. Nupi Arora first, who is ready to go. There she is. Hey, Nupi.
I'd actually calmed down, seriously, and then you say something and I'm in fits of giggles. Hello. Good evening. Good afternoon.
Well, good evening. It's bright and early for you. Come on.
Yes, it's only midnight, for heaven's sake.
Yeah, only midnight.
There we go. I'm not going to touch again. Yeah, it's only midnight. Gosh. And I've been a really busy girl today. I've just had
I know you have.
Podcasts.
You are covering the whole. You're covering the whole world of live streams.
I was, and I'm in my element. Seriously, it's brilliant. Love it.
Yes.
And it was nice to be interviewed. Actually, it was nice to be on the other flip side, on the other side of it.
Yeah, no, that's great. It is. I mean, really, it's a lot of fun for me too when I'm on other shows, because I love that I don't have to be producing the whole show and hosting and doing all at the same time. Every now and then, it's nice just to be on, you know.
Yeah.
So yes.
And chats and chatterbox.
There you go.
Chatterbox away. Yeah.
Hey, give us a quick snapshot for the one or two people that don't know you, Nupi, what you're up to and who you are.
So, hi everybody. I am Dr. Nupi, aka the Glitter Practitioner. I'm a GP, a family physician, and also a transformation life coach. I run a coaching program called Find Your Fizz and Flourish, and I have an ebook that's coming out very soon. And what else? My website's about to be launched. There's loads of projects that are going on. Oh, and you can find me I do a live LinkedIn show every Monday, which is produced by somebody called, I believe his first name begins with a Russ, by Russ Head. And that's live with
I've
the
heard
Glitter
of him
Practitioner.
before.
Live with the Glitter Practitioner every Monday at 12 noon Pacific Daylight Time. And that's 8 p.m. my time in the UK. And I have another show with my amazing Supernova Soul sister, Diana Londonio. And that's every other Tuesday at 7:30 Pacific Daylight Time. And I think that's 3:30 BST.
Yeah, 7:30 a.m. Pacific, which is, late for me. I'm the early riser. Nupi is still up and hasn't gone to bed yet when I'm getting up.
That's not
usually.
true. Now, no, you see, no, I've been really good. And I admit I've been butterflying around again, but it's not going to be for long. I'm allowed. And I rest when I can.
Well, I'm so good because I'm glad to hear that because I don't want to have to work on your self-care too while you're helping everybody else. I'm going to come up instead of the F list, I'm going to come up with the Nupi list and what you need to do. We'll have the
For
N
heaven's
list.
sake.
There you go. There
Yeah,
you go.
fine.
Well, hey, speaking of so much fun, I just met her the other day, but Tamara is an amazing person and a doctor. She's in the emergency room. So when you need help immediately, there she is. Let's hear it up. Give it up for Tamara.
Hello. How are you all? It's
It is
so
so
amazing
good.
to be here. This is like a reunion show.
It is. I love it. I just want to hug you. It's amazing.
I know. I want you too. Across the
Hug through
pond.
the
We're
screen.
gonna
There
do
you go.
hugs.
Aw, so lovely
Well,
to see you.
it is so great to see you, Tamara. And
Sorry,
it was so much
sorry,
fun
Russ.
when you were on Nupi's show. And give us a little snapshot for those that don't know you, who you are and what you're up to.
Absolutely. So, hello, everyone. I'm Dr. Tamara Beckford. Yes, I am an ER physician. Yes, I still work full time. Yes, I still take care of people. But on my other hat that I have, I am the CEO of Your Caring Docs. And with Your Caring Docs, we are all about self-care and self-care for the organization. So we help create amazing cultures and then boost employee retention through workshops and self-care workshops, all there to help our organizations. We know right now, and we'll probably be talking about it, like, oh my gosh, like they said, like what 60% of the people are just unsatisfied with their jobs. They're feeling crappy. They are disengaged. I'm here to bring the fizz from my fizz system back into the organizations through self-care workshop. That's right, go fizz it. I love it.
So awesome. So awesome. Yes, we need the fizz essence, right?
The fizz essence,
In the house. There you go.
absolutely.
I've got my own language, and people
Yes,
are
you do.
actually quoting
Yeah, there
me,
you
and it's wonderful. It's brilliant.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
She's gonna teach everybody. And speaking of teaching, our next two guests, George and Vanessa, amazing people in the house. Hey, George and Vanessa.
Oh,
This really is a reunion.
Oh my
It is.
We met Nupi with Dr. Tamara when we were live with her. And
Yes.
oh my goodness. It's been
Oh yes. This is I even forgot to talk about the show.
I was there in comments. I was the only
Yes.
one. And
Yes.
we were like having a four-way conversation, and I was love bombing the
Absolutely.
comments as I do. And then that was it.
Glitter bombing.
bombing.
Yes.
Glitter bombing. Yes,
Oh,
I
I-
was glitter
And
bombing.
I
speaking,
love it.
Oh, glittered
Hey.
one. Glittered.
well, before we bow down to the glittered one, George, Vanessa, give us a little snapshot of who you are and what you're up to.
I mean, it's just so awesome to be with you ladies. And yes, it is. I first approached Tamara, seeing the work that she was doing and wanting to be part of that. And then Nupi, and then through Nupi, Russ. I mean, it's just been.
That's how this works,
It's how
right?
it works. It's been phenomenal. But we are healthcare professional marriage coaches, and she's moving my drink out of the way. Sorry about that.
He has a habit of clicking it as he's talking.
But
there's a cadence to it.
I love you both. I love it.
You know, we as you all are passionate, and we can feel your passion, see your passion. That's what makes us all so good together, because we are passionate about our relationships that have taken such a huge beating through all of these changes, not only society, but with healthcare primarily. And you know, we've lived a healthcare marriage for, it'll be 30 years in November, and this is a natural transition for us to try to be out there and help as many of our brethren and sisters as we can.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
I love it.
Amazing.
You guys are so fantastic.
They're so cute.
If you're not happy at your job, then chances are that stress is coming into your home.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Yes,
Big time.
absolutely.
Big time.
That is a perfect launching pad. I'm going to stay with the two of you really quickly, because this is ideal for the topic today. And that is, you take yourself to your business. And if you are not healthy internally and externally, it's going to affect everything you do. And a lot of times people will tell me, well, I just separate my personal life from my business. I'm like, good luck with that. Because there's no way you can actually separate yourself from all you do unless you take you all the way out of the equation. So tell us a little bit about how you help people keep healthy, both in their marriages and in their life, to move on and be happy with their business.
We were talking today, and you know, kind of like Nupi was saying about talking to all these people, and you, Russ, and I know Tamara too, trying to keep everything straight. But we were talking to somebody today that they were talking about the different hats that we wear, and knowing when a specific hat is appropriate to use. And I think as in the profession that we're in, these hats kind of get we don't know when is an appropriate time that we use this hat, or they all come together at once, which can be very difficult.
And
So
I'll give an example. I grew up in a business. So my parents were not only my parents, but they were entrepreneurs. So they wore the hats of mother, father, business owner. And, you know, my mother, God bless her, she's 81. And last week, the mom hat was on. And then in the middle of the afternoon, she switched into the boss hat, and she's bossing me around like I'm her employee. And perfect example of the hats we wear. And if we are not self-aware enough to understand when we go into those mindsets, so to speak, it has a way of affecting our relationship. And that really slid my relationship with her badly last week.
And you know, it's impossible to not have all these hats with us.
Yeah.
I mean, they're
Right.
all there, but we need to know which one that we need to put on primarily. And we kind of where we see a lot of issues, and we've talked to you ladies about this, is not being able to disconnect where we are at work and reconnect at home. And that's about you know, putting the doctor hat over here as much as possible, or PA or NP or physical therapist, whatever you may have in healthcare, be able to put that aside and put the husband or the wife hat on, or the father or the mother hat on. And so a lot of what we do is teach the tools to be able to do that. And
with intention.
Yes.
Right.
I was going to say that. Yeah.
Intentionally.
Yes.
Your body language, your verbal language, everything is copying the hat that you're wearing, that it's an intentional process.
Yeah.
I like
I
that
mean,
too.
intentionality is so important. And Tamara, jump in there. I know you had a comment.
Yeah, no, I was saying that, I love the fact that you're describing that the hat that you wear and the intention that you have to align. Because
Yeah.
there's so many times that, yes, I am wearing the boss hat, but I'm pretending to have the caring and the listening. And if they don't align, we as human beings, we have these inner intuition where we can
Yeah.
tell when someone is actively listening or they're listening to respond,
Yeah.
right? And so when you have that intention of saying, okay, pause, I'm going to really take off this boss hat because right now we're at the equal partner portion. This is my relationship portion. I'm at home. We're
Right.
partners in building this home together. So now I'm not bossing you around and asking you to send these faxes and emails unless you want to have a lot of discomfort late at night. You don't want
Yeah.
True.
Yeah. Very true.
Well,
Yes.
Nupi, I
Yes.
just see you're brimming with comments. Come on.
I am. You know me so well. So I would like to throw something in here that, yes, we have different hats, and that's really important because we've got different roles, but you're the same person.
Yes.
And it is about knowing yourself, being aware of your needs, and it's awareness, actually, because without that awareness, you can't flick from hat to hat. It becomes really, ugh. And the more aware you are of yourself and your needs, because you are bringing your whole self to your doctor role, to your coach role, to your mummy, to your wife, to your friendship. If you're truly looking after yourself, that's seamless, absolutely seamless. It can be. And that's how I think when you are really in tune with your needs and you are really looking after yourself, that is why you're bringing your whole self to different roles. And if it's in business, your health is your wealth, quite frankly. If you haven't got your health, how are you going to run your business? How are you going to make these decisions and stay in respond mode as opposed to knee jerk and stress? And we see it all the time with dysfunctional leadership. They're not the dysfunctional leadership peoples, they're not in tune with their needs. They're not looking after themselves. And it's then the behavior that comes from that is, it gets flooded down to the rest of the staff, etc. So
Absolutely.
I think there are different roles, yes, and yes, you have different hats. However, I think it's much easier to transition between them when you are truly looking after yourself. Truly is my contribution to this conversation.
Yes. Oh, that was a lovely contribution too, I must say. I I was going to say though, it's interesting because, I teach people all the time about having a real foundation and purpose to all that they do. You talked about intentionality, Vanessa, and it's so important to really have this base foundation for your life, and purpose and intention and passion is great, but you also need health. And so like Nupi is saying, if your health is your wealth, or just your health is what keeps you moving in life, and you're not in tune with that, or you have issues with yourself, that carries through everything you do, right, Vanessa and George?
Absolutely. I have a little quote box every day, and today's is: life is not merely to be alive, but to be well.
Nice.
So appropriate. And it's from Marcus Valerius Marshall.
So
interesting.
So I agree with all that. I agree with what you said, Nupi, and there has to be awareness, and that's one of the things that we teach in our program is because if you aren't aware, if you aren't aware of the vibes that you put off, if you aren't aware of yourself, or if you aren't aware and you aren't healthy, and if you don't have that self-care, and if it isn't something that you dwell on and think about, it's going to affect not only the relationship that you have, the partnership that you have at home, but it's also going to affect all the other relationships that you have, including your work. So it's incredibly key. I'm absolutely believe that.
Well, I'm with you 100%. And Tamara, we talk about self-care all the time, and I think a lot of us, this is what we have to work with Nupi on all the time. We 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 actually sometimes are so busy helping others that we
Absolutely.
don't take care of ourselves, right?
Hmm.
So
Yeah, and
speak to that.
that is so true. And that's one of the challenge with self-care, especially with those who are in roles. Loopy is like, I take care of myself. And hey,
No, I
hello,
was waving to
Diana,
Diana.
our
I'm
soul
so sorry.
sisters.
Yeah.
Tune in.
Diana, hey there.
So one of the challenge with those who are in caretaker roles, such as those of us in the medical field, in whatever portion of clinician that you are, or even if you're in caretaker mode of you're caring for a loved one, an ill one, you are usually in the mode where you're giving consistently, right? Now, when someone is in the mindset that I need to do this, I am the only person that can do this for, and fill in the blank, my mom, my son who has a chronic illness, my loved one who has a chronic illness, my son who might have a autism or any type of neurodivergent disorder. I'm the only person that can. And then they fill in the blank. And what happens is that they're given from a set of a cup that is gonna consistently be either half empty or on its way to completely empty. As opposed to what self-care is, and this is challenging because it's hard to change that mindset. The self-care is you're not giving from the cup unless the cup is already full.
Yes.
Right.
You are giving the overflow.
Overfill.
Absolutely. Now it's hard to move from consistently giving half empty and giving, being burnt out. Exactly like Dana said, delegate.
Delegate.
You're burnt out, you're worn out. And then what does that lead to? Frustration. And
Right.
the frustration actually starts to get pushed out, and then you're starting to deflect to the very people you're trying to take care of.
Yes.
So
Okay, so
that's the
Absolutely.
importance
Yeah.
of self-care. Mhm.
Yeah.
that is a super great point. And Nupi, we're going to bounce to you, but I just want to
Mhm.
say that is something we all deal with when,
Mhm.
like you're talking about, when you come home and you are overwhelming yourself and you're
Yeah.
overburdening yourself, and then you end up that reflects on to those people. And
Mhm.
sometimes the best of you is not given to the ones you love most. The
Absolutely.
best of you is given during the day to others. And I know
Mhm.
I work on that all the time. That's something
Mhm.
Yeah.
I constantly have to work on. Nupi, go ahead.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's so important to make sure when you're in, especially in caregiving roles, it's this mindset of only I can do that. And I've spoken to so many patients who have been main carers for their family, etc. And I'm like, I bet you if we just stopped and just looked at this, are you the only person? Who else could we engage with? Who else is out there? How else can we support you? And I think it's allowing yourself to go, you know what? There's only one of me. I need to do me in
Mhm.
order to do what I can do. And that's good enough.
Mhm.
If I need more help and support, so be it. And it's shifting people's mindsets to not feeling guilty about that
Mhm.
they're not coping, or I've not fulfilled my role enough. You're
Mm.
human. You can only do so much, and it's giving yourself the grace and the compassion to go, I've done what I can. I need to listen and tune into my body as well and my needs. I think that is crucial because that's where people, you want to just keep giving. And as Tamara said, it's impossible. You're always going to be on a negative deficit here.
Mhm.
Keep your needs in balance. Know what they are, own them, protect them. That's not
Right.
selfish. That is absolutely vital. And then you can then it's abundance. You can, yeah, no problem. And things
Mhm.
happen a lot quicker. So
Right.
I think that's really, really important that there are other people who can support you and allow that to happen.
Right. Yeah. Well, and it's true. And Tamara, I always love to use the example. I'm on the airplane, and what do they tell us? If the oxygen mask drop down, what's the first thing you do? I know that's an overused analogy, but it's so true.
But
It's
it's
so
true.
It's true.
yeah, it's very clear. If you do not take care of yourself, you pass out and you can help nobody, right?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and I know that a lot of what you're doing. So, I mean, how do you deal with the busy life, Tamara, when you're out, you're doing the emergency room doctor stuff, you got the new stuff going on, you come in, you got the big, huge smile, and you've already been up half the night. So,
Yes. So, one of the things that I do for my particular self-care is the routine, which I call my wake up routine. And this is something that I, try to instill in others because it's very small changes that has a huge impact. Now, for me, I call it the wake up routine versus the morning routine. So for those of you who don't know me, I am a nocturnist. So that's a fancy term for I work at nights. So I'm waking up, it's 4 o'clock in the afternoon. I call you guys day walkers. I'm like, what are you guys up? That yellow thing in the sky. Why are you? But what I do in order to keep myself centered is that when I wake up, there's certain routine that I try to maintain. Number one is that I am not going on social media immediately. I do not want to know what email you sent me. I do not care within the first 20 minutes of my life when I wake up. Guess what? You'll survive, right? So those first 20 minutes are all about me. It's all about me getting my mind right, preparing myself for the day, doing things that's matter to me that keeps me centered. Because as I like to say, I want to enter into my day. I do not want my day entering into me. So no, I don't care if this is an emergency for you. Another 20 minutes, I'm not in the ER. I'm at home. This is my home, right? Yes, I need to use that time to balance. And that's my time of filling my cup. And guess what you get? You get my overflow. And that's why you see the smile. That's why I am energized because you're getting my overflow because I fill my cup up each morning.
Exactly.
that's awesome. And George and Vanessa, I want you to comment on this. It's something I read about in my book, actually. Just in alignment with what you said, Tamara, is how you start your day. I am huge on morning routine. And number two, I tell people the exact same thing. Stay away from social media, stay away from all the distractions. And it's hard. It's even hard for me when I wake up because you have that yearning to check things and all this stuff, But when you take that time to center and ground yourself, you're able to fill that cup up so it does overflow. George, Vanessa?
I'm going to let Vanessa take the majority of that, but I want to make two comments. And one is this, our training, unfortunately, does nothing to help these things that happen to us. Now, it's up to us, and it's taken us I'm saying us as a group of people in this space to realize that over the years. And if we don't do this ourselves, we're not going to get the help from anybody else. That is getting better. But I think the biggest thing in our relationships is communication is one, but being vulnerable about what each of you is feeling as a result of this space that you're in, whether you're at home, whether you're at the office, and the kind of issues that it is, the stress that it's bringing to you, and secondarily bringing to the person that is so near and dear to your heart. Go ahead.
But not only that, but there's so much stimuli that's being flooded unto you from the phones and the computer and whatnot. And take time to just feel and to feel human, because, what I say about medicine is dehumanizing. The practice of medicine can be dehumanizing. And we teach you how to be human again, and that it's okay to be vulnerable. It's okay to have feelings. And when was the last time you did some feeling work so that you really understood what you were feeling and that those feelings are normal?
Because we're taught not to feel.
We're taught not to.
We're taught to smash all that down and not to feel.
Yeah. And you know, the cell phones, what do? They keep those suppressed as well.
Yeah, no, that's an incredibly awesome point, because you're right. We are taught to suppress stuff. And I think that when we come together and we're really vulnerable, and in fact, on one of my shows, The Experience, on Wednesday mornings, we had Diana on, Lodonio, and she actually
The great Diana.
There you go. And she was very vulnerable. And our other guest, David Oscar from the Tennessee area, he jumped right on that. And he was like, that's amazing how vulnerable you're being and how you open. And it just opened up this whole wonderful conversation where it draws people together, right? It draws people together. Nupi?
Absolutely, Russ. That's so spot on, because I think I'm talking amongst the physicians now. When you're with people who have, it's what Diana and I say a lot, actually. We've lived and experienced what burnout is. And I'm standing here now and I call myself a burnout warrior because I know what I need to do not to go back there. And when you are aware of your needs and you know this and you're living and breathing it and sharing it with others, that's the whole thing. You're giving other people permission to go, oh my gosh, there is a different way of doing it. Okay. And you're sharing your vulnerability in order to hopefully uplift and inspire somebody else to take that message away. I think it's so important. And, you know, coming on to what you were saying earlier, it's the connections, the community you're with. God, it's vital. It's so important. I can't stress that enough. I lost my train of thought then, though. What before that? I was talking about, you know.
I'm so glad you do that. I do that all the time, and I feel bad when I do it.
Oh,
it's going on 1 a.m. for you, Nupi. That's why you lost your train of thought. Okay.
And I have actually done about 3 interviews today talking about burnouts, needs, self-care, etc. But that's the whole thing. When you are aware of all of this and you are really tuning into yourself, this is what becomes then your habit. And you know, it's what Tamara said. That's what I wanted to say. It's you people see, you know, you're smiling and you're fizzy and effervescent. And that's because I'm aware of my needs. And that is because I'm living and breathing what it is I share with others. And if there's an imbalance, I can feel it. And it's like, oh my God, I feel really confused. Oh no, right, what do I need to do? What haven't I done? And you can bring it all back again. Yeah, that's what I wanted to say.
Well, that was well said. Well said. You know, I wanted to jump back to you, Tamara, and that, you know, I just think that back to this morning routine, I think people I do an entire newsletter on this, you know, on mornings, because I think it's so vital that people really are, and I'm thinking of the word you use, Vanessa, again, intentional. You've got to be so intentional about how you spend your life and how you start your day and how that launches you through the rest of the day. And Tamara, I mean, you obviously are nodding and are a big fan of that. Give us some more comments on that, because I just think that's so important.
Absolutely. No, the intention. And, you know, let's put it like this. Similar to what you know, Jeep is saying, this is not something that we're completely taught to do. We're taught to get up and get things done. Like, what are your tasks for today? If we really think about it, we move from when we're kids, you know, they go to school and they have a routine, and then they thrive in that routine. And then life moves on, and then it's just a hustle and a bustle. Right? We get up and we're thinking about, what do I need to do for dinner? What is it? And I mean, we just got up. What am I going to do for the day? What are some of the tasks that I need to get done? You know, if you're here, like, oh my gosh, how many patients do I have to see today? How many this do I have to do? And you're thinking about all your tasks and your boxes that you're checking off before you've even given anything to yourself.
Right.
You have springboarded to 3 hours in advance, 5 hours, 8, 12 hours in advance. You have not allowed your brain to even like wake up. You haven't done any work on self before you have started your day. Now, it's not our fault overall because we haven't really been trained to do this. However, once you start, and like we said, these changes are so small because it's like 20 minutes a day. The results are just so powerful. You look back and you're like, where has this been my entire life? Like, why am I not doing this? I see the difference. Now, for me, this is something I noticed during the pandemic. You know, the pandemic came on, and as we mentioned, you know, I'm an ER doc. So during that time, if it's anybody that needed to stand up, it was us. Like all the ER docs, hey, this is your turn. And we're all like, oh, wow, the last pandemic was in like 1912 or so. Nobody's alive from that last one. So I guess we're on our own. We have to figure this one out. Nobody's here from the Spanish flu, right? So I got up and then I started to do things. And then I started realizing, like, wow, when I would do something intentional, listen to something positive, instead of consistently finding out about how many waves. Oh, the new wave is coming. Oh my gosh, now we have this. You know, I started listening to positive things, mindset, gratitude practice.
Yes.
The gratitude practice calmed the anxiety from trying to figure out how many new cases are consistently coming up that day. The gratitude calmed the anxiety. How powerful is it to have someone who enters their day with positivity and they're calm, and that person is coming to take care of you? How much different is it as a leader to have, or an employee to have a leader that comes in calm and level-headed versus a leader who comes in anxious?
Yes.
Absolutely.
No, that is 100% right. In fact, you know, I love to start my day every day with gratitude. And I tell everybody all the time on my shows, I do 3 things in the morning. I write about this in my book. Number 1, I say how thankful and grateful I am for God, for my beautiful wife, for my family, for all that I've been blessed with. Number 2, I give myself a pep talk, keep that positive mindset, say, hey, I've got this. I have the talents and abilities to be able to take on the day. And number 3, I say today's going to be awesome because I'm going to shape that mindset. I'm going to move forward thinking that, because I know crummy things are still probably going to happen, but you know what? I'm going to keep a positive mindset about that. And Nupi, you tend to have slightly a positive mindset as well.
Slightly, just a teeny bit.
So just a little fizz out there.
Absolutely. And it's the gratitude, and it's, I mean, when I have shifted body clock zones. So Tamara, I'm also now doing night shifts. Essentially, I've just turned into Pacific Daylight Time. But what I do is make sure every single day I always smudge through incense and do all of this, meditate, clear myself, absolutely without fail. And it doesn't have to be a guided half an hour, 40-minute thing. I center, breathe, focus, and look at the things I've done, or gratitude for a couple of different things. And actually I say, whatever it is I'm working on or what I'm looking at the future, it's already happened as far as I'm concerned. Thank you for this, and I'm bringing it to me. And it's as you said, Tamara, it's the littlest thing. That breath cycle takes no more than a couple of minutes, and it's so powerful. And it's keeping yourself here, because your energy shifts otherwise. If you're feeling, first thing I do is just go, oh, right, I've not done my breathing. Right, let's just do that now. And this is what I teach my kids. This is what I show patients or my clients. You can stay in that zone. And it's not about being, right, let's all happy skip all day. It's not this the whole time, but you work on it. And it's tiny little things so it does become habitual. And when you're stressed or when things are going on, very normal to go into react mode. But if you've got this as your foundation, your needs, the F list stuff, that's what it is. It's about being present. It's teaching you to be present. And when you're present, nothing from the past, nothing going into the future, right here and there, that's powerful. And you can really, it's learning how to really stay in that. And it's, that's what you do. And it's a ripple effect, because then that's what you spread out. That's your energy that you're bringing out. And people feel that big time.
Yeah. Well, and it's the perspective that you have on all that on life around you. So when you're present and you go in with a good perspective and you're moving forward in a positive way, it affects everything that you're doing. And so tomorrow, when you are at the emergency room and everybody's screaming, you can be calm because you've built your foundation on a strong base for the day, right?
Absolutely. And it's very powerful. It's powerful because, as even Vanessa, I saw Vanessa shaking her head to this too, because she understands this whole, what you have within you, as Nupi is saying, that centeredness, people feel it. So when you enter into a chaotic situation and you've entered, especially if you enter as the leader, as the go-to person. So when we say leader, it doesn't even have to be the physician, but in that scenario, in the ER, that's me entering into the room. People said, oh, you can cut this tension with a knife. How is it that you can feel that? Because we are beings that we are really interconnected. So when you bring your centered self, a calm self to a situation, you don't have to say these words that get people even more riled up. Okay, everybody, just calm down. Now you know that if you ever say that, the complete opposite happens. But when you step in and you are centered and you are calm, they feel it. And then when you give them the chance to just be heard, immediately, I've had many scenarios where the patient is just violently upset. I go in there with my calm and centered self. I speak in a normal tone, a gentle tone, an understanding tone, and the anger goes from here to there to the point that it turns to them apologizing, because and it's all because you're centered. And so exactly, notice, don't say calm down. No, ever, unless you wanted to flip the other way around. But you really bring that in. Now, how can you do that? You can only bring it in, like Vanessa and Nupi said, when you have recognized, and you can do this with intention, you recognize that power that you have within to center yourself, to do that deep breathing, and to intentional, because they can tell if you're fake. You have to just this has become a part of you. And how do you do that? You practice it. How do you practice it? A little bit every day.
And I want to say what I think
beautifully said. Well done.
Is a huge mindset, is that it is also a choice.
Yes.
Empower yourself to, you may not be good at it. It doesn't matter. Like, you may think, oh, I've been told I'm the most negative person in the world. Well, you know what? All it takes is a decision to flip that around and take one step at a time and practice it on a daily basis.
Yeah. I love that, Vanessa. I mean, as you know, I'm the live the life you choose kind of guy. And I agree 100% with what you're saying, because my favorite phrase is life happens and then we choose.
Yeah.
Yes.
because it's
Yeah.
happening all around us. We can't control
Yeah.
that, right? But we
Absolutely.
control what we choose to do with it, where we choose to go
Absolutely.
from there. And
Yes.
it's interesting, Tamara, that you were bringing that up about your calm and when you're on the job and people are elevated. I've always had the habit of in my work life of getting in really early to work. And
Mhm.
so I am very organized and grounded and calm when everybody else rolls in, right? In my first job, I started in the mailroom after I went to Oregon State and thought I was all that and realized I had to jump into the mailroom in a company just to get going, right? And so, but I love that job. It's actually my favorite job because it was easy, number one. But when I was in the mailroom, and it was a big advertising agency, and the ad execs who always came to work late, who were always on their heels, who were always procrastinating and not getting their work done to the last minute, when they were freaking out to get presentations that they had to get off to the client, I was nice and calm when they came down and they needed me to do that, because inside I'm thinking, well, it's not my problem that you're late. I'm just going to work at a good pace and get it done. But I also was able to stay really calm and diffuse that. And that was something I
Yes.
think part of my personality, but it came from that morning getting grounded and getting centered and really feeling good about myself. So I didn't have all my own worries and stresses going on when they brought it
Mhm.
in. I could just be calm. And I think that's really important. And you bring that up, that I think people need to realize what you do in the
Big
morning
time.
is not only going to affect all that you're doing, but it's going to affect all the people around you. It's going to
Mhm.
affect all the
Yeah.
environment around you. Um, and it's hard to help and bless other people when you're all a mess yourself.
Right?
Definitely. Yeah,
Absolutely.
it is. It is.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So
And I'd like to,
we're
I'm sorry, Russ.
we're
Sorry.
going to do one more round, and Nupi, you're going to start. And what I want you guys to
Thanks.
do is give us your last words and then how people get in touch with you. But in the
Oh,
words of my
goodness.
friend Russ Johns, I'd like to say before you go, Nupi, that I think all of us here want to help more people help more people. And I love
Absolutely.
that phrase he says. He wants to
Yeah.
help. That's what his goal is, to help more
Yeah.
people help more people. And I think when we have that attitude, man, what a life-changing statement that is. So Nupi, go ahead.
Definitely. Um, so I think you get to govern your thinking is
Mhm.
very powerful. And this is what I've always taught patients, particularly going through, steps of different changes. You get to choose what happens next. And that is it's choice. And it's so powerful. Um, because you can do so much with that and you're tapping into something. You can change things, you can change your trajectory. And the other thing I wanted to say is it's okay if you're not feeling, particularly calm, say, for example, or you're feeling rattled or frazzled. But understand that it doesn't need to stay like that. There are
Right.
tools and techniques how you can flip it. And it just with the breathing techniques, you yourself can just go, recognize what's coming up, F it off, take a step back, focus. It's my F list. Focus and breathe and recenter yourself. And you can do that at
Yeah.
any step of the way. And that's the power of this. And flip it. Exactly. Well done. Exactly. So that was my last thoughts for the day. You can find me on LinkedIn. Do connect if you've not already connected with me. You can also find me every Monday on LinkedIn again. I've forgotten the show. Oh, I'm so tired.
Jesus, that's the Soul
9.
Sisters. Every other Tuesday
Yeah, thanks.
on
There you
LinkedIn.
go.
I was going to say, no, live with me, live with the Glitter Practitioner at 8 p.m. BST, which is 12 noon Pacific Daylight Time. And then you can also find me every other Tuesday with Diana Londoño, my Supernova Soul sister, Physicians in Motion, at 7:30 a.m. Pacific Daylight Time, which is 3:30 BST. And what else? Oh, you can find me on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, all Glitter Practitioner. There we go.
There you go. Awesome. Awesome. And I hear you had this great guest Tamara on the Supernova Sisters a while back.
That's
So
right.
Tamara, take it away. You're up.
Yes, so absolutely. So one of the things I wanted to add to what Nupi said, because Nupi gave a great synopsis of, you aren't what you think. You can always change. And one of the challenges that I think we have in our lives is once we get to this particular portion, we're like, well, I've always been that way. If this is an intentional change you want in your life, guess what? You have the power to do it, and you have the power to change it. You are not your thoughts. You actually have the power to change your thoughts and thus change your feelings towards whatever it is that's going on in your life. Trust that power is within you. So take advantage of it. And with that, I want to say self care is very important because that's what I love talking about. And self care is, my jam, as I like to say. Self care is my jam for personal and for organizational. So if you are any organization and you're looking for someone to have a wonderful self care workshop, go ahead and contact me. You can find me on LinkedIn. Tamara Beckford, MD, on LinkedIn. And I forgot to mention that every Thursday at 12 Central, you can find the Dr. Tamara Beckford Show there on LinkedIn. And guess who my wonderful guests were? Yes, the wonderful Jeep and Vanessa Naum. And I have the wonderful Nupi and Daniel Londonio, which you'll find them on my personal website, which is the Your Caring Docs, is URCARINGDOCS.com. That's where the podcast is held. And you can contact me via Facebook or Instagram, but my real jam is here on LinkedIn, where you can find me, as I mentioned it, Tamara Beckford. So love to connect with you guys.
Awesome. And as they're giving this, just a reminder, everybody, all the information is clickable in the comments and in the show notes. It's all there. All you got to do is click on it and go to them. And that is amazing. And you know what? George, Vanessa, you're up last. Here we go. Last words. And
I'm going to say something, but I'm going to let my better half say most of it. But what you're looking at here, what you're hearing here, is the silver lining of COVID. Is what you're hearing. What you're hearing is strength. This is willingness to go against the grain, which is still stiff and still there. But many of us, present company included, know that the only way that change is going to be effective, especially with ourselves, is to take the bull by the horns and to run with it. And that's what we have here. And it's happening. Is it happening as quickly as we want it to? No. But is it happening? Yes, it is. And that is such a great thing to be able to see. Go ahead, honey.
Thank you. For the viewers and listeners, what I would like for you to do right now is to be aware of how engaged your brain is right now. In fact, it is so engaged that you're probably disconnected from the rest of your body until I say, can you feel your knee? And then you become aware of your knee. So part of what we do in sex and relationship coaching is to teach folks how to get out of their head and back into their body and work with issues around desire, also communication, lots of great things that we work with to build the connection back between people. Our mission is to have couples in marriages and partnerships to be able to find peace amidst the storms of life with their partner, to feel nurtured, to feel loved, and to feel super safe there. And we just encourage you, if you are not feeling safe in your relationship, reach out to us. We are taking calls and answering questions. They're free. And you can find us on our website at bestfriendsagain.com. And the reason we say best friends again is we think that you probably were best friends when you made that decision to get married. And then life took you down a road of uncertainty and behaviors change and things happen. And that's fine. What we'd like to do is to have you become best friends again. So find us on our website. Also find us primarily on LinkedIn. We do have Facebook, Russ's show notes, and just implore you, reach out to us. We're willing to talk to anybody, and it's free.
That is so awesome. Well,
Amazing.
such great, amazing information. And I just want to wrap up by saying, our minds are so powerful, and you're all talking about this. This is not a promo for this book, but this book here, which you can barely see, is called Winning the War of Your Mind.
Yes.
Change Your Thinking, Change Your Life by
Yes.
Craig Rochelle. It is a great
Yes.
book, by the way. But the whole thing that I love about that book is you completely change your lifestyle and your life when you change the way you think. And you have all said this, you've all been talking about this, and it's so important to your health, to what you do for your business, your family, your marriage, whatever it goes into, is to have that positive mindset, have that peace, have that foundation of good health. And I think we could go on for hours on this conversation, but it's time to wrap it up for today. And I just want to tell all of you how blessed I am, first of all, to have you all as friends, but also just so grateful that you're willing to come on, share, just bless other people, because you all are all so knowledgeable on this subject. So we're going to do this again. And so I'll reach out to all of you. We'll have another chat. But I just want to thank you so much for being here today and taking time, and especially for those of us that it's 1:00 in the morning now.
Oh, I love you to bits, Russ. Thank you for having me on.
Okay, well, listen, I'm going to let y'all go. Hang tight in the green room. I'll be right with you. Thanks so much again.
Hey, thanks,
Thank
Russ.
you.
Thanks,
Bye.
lady. Always good to
It's
see
great seeing you guys again.
There they go. Out they go. Listen, you know what? We are definitely doing this again. They are amazing. And I am so blessed to be able to bless you. When I talk about the amazing things that I'm able to have on my live streams, I mean it. And it's not because of what I bring, although I do feel like I bring value, but it's because all of the great minds that come together with me to bring so much value to you. And I'm just so thankful. I learn stuff every single show. I am learning and growing, and we all need to do that, because a lot of the things we talked about today, I am still working on. Just a little point of vulnerability. I am just like you. I am working on areas of my life that I am not as good at, areas that I have to be super intentional and thoughtful, and I need to think about the way I approach life in those areas, because I want to be a blessing to my beautiful wife, to my family, to all that I do. And I don't always do it right. I don't. And so I want to be better, and I want to grow in that area. And I encourage you to do the same and to reach out to these fabulous people. All of their information is right there for you to click on. And if you want to learn or see more fabulous people every Thursday, 4 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time on Russ Reels Live, we have a great topic and a great panel, just like today, of amazing people that will add value to your life. So until we see you again, you guys have a good one. Have a great day and a great life. We'll talk to you soon. Bye, everybody.